in your mouth? Put it up in the stash. Already know, you ain't gotta ask. It's about that cash, it's about that dough. Gotta get rich, cause mine be grown. If it ain't about this, I can't pick up the phone. Run it up quick, yeah, and I gotta go, yeah. Hope you're ready to roll, cause I'm out the door. Yeah, on my grind I just hope that it pay off. 1 o'clock and I ain't took a day off. I'm tryna ball like the playoffs. Glad that I majored in finance, cause maybe I end up like Madoff. Thought I would have in my dreams by now, but I guess the timing was way off. I'm really about to be 24, then after that I'll be 25. Chasing this dream, I done gave it all, so all I can do is just give it time. No, it ain't no stopping, no finish line. If it ain't about catching it, get declined. Wonder why I don't be chilling with you, cause I can't afford to be spending time. I'm just tryna ball in a major way. I took all the losses that paid away, the lessons and stories and takeaways, to going it up in a crazy way. Ain't seen me walking through all the storms, just like how I'm making it rain today. Already told you I'm trying to ball, I hope you don't think that I came to play. Know that I ain't got it now, I'ma get it before I hit the grave. If you ain't trying to get to this paper, then you gotta get out the way. Said no, I don't do it for clout, no, I don't do it for fame. If you ain't trying to talk about the dough, then dog, I got nothing to say. It ain't for the pics, it ain't for the flash. What's in your mouth? Put it up in the stash. Already know, you ain't gotta ask. It's about that cash, it's about that dough. Gotta get rich, cause mine be grown. If it ain't about this, I can't pick up the phone. Run it up quick, yeah, and I gotta go, yeah. Hope you're ready to roll, cause I'm out the door. Do I do well? Sometimes I fail, but I still get about myself. I gave my love, I gave myself. Now I need a return, no, I ain't no slave. I'm just tryna earn a way to live life being stress-free. I don't really ride on the jet skis, but I'm tired of checking the bank app when I'm out and I ask for the check, please. Realize I ain't got the bread for it, cause I don't get paid until next week. I look at my shorty like, let's leave. When you get outside, baby, text me and I'm out of the door. I just hope that they taking a tab. I just find I'm feeling like plies. Running off, I ain't paying it back. Maybe they could put me on the fries. I could watch every dish in the stack. Shorty wonder why I'm on the edge, cause I gotta get paid to relax. I'm just doing the best that I can, tryna get to the house in the hills. 50 hours of work every week, tryna get to the point I could chill. Wanna spend some more time with the fam, cause we only get one life to live. But you already knowing the deal, said I'm destined to get to these bills. Ain't for the pics, it ain't for the flash. What's in your mouth? Put it up in the stash. Already know, you ain't gotta ask. It's about that cash, it's about that dough. Gotta get rich, cause mine be grown. If it ain't about this, I can't pick up the phone. Run it up quick, yeah, and I gotta go, yeah. Hope you're ready to roll, cause I'm out the door.
What's up, y'all? If you're probably wondering why I'm whispering, it's because I am. I'm in a library right now. Let me turn this camera a little bit. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. But yeah, I can't talk that loud because like I'm in a library, but like the aesthetic was cool, and I just like the chair. It's a really comfortable chair, so yeah, I'm gonna stay right here. But anyways, you guys probably wonder where I've been at. So in the video, I went to the J. Cole and a Drake concert, and I get more into like the whole experience later. But the reason that I'm kind of bringing that up at this particular moment is because I had, my video and I was coming home from school to go. And essentially what happened was while I was in the concert, somebody broke into my car and stole my laptop. Busted out my windows, took my backpack, took all my finals notes and everything. So I had a midterm, they took all the notes. Still got an A, nigga. But for real though, that being said, yeah, that's kind of what's been holding me up. But we getting back on track, so I'm not too worried about it. Just a little setback, you know what I'm saying? But the enemy's always going to kind of throw something in there when you finally learn some big things. Because, I mean, to be honest, that was a pretty impactful weekend. I know you guys were obviously watching the video and you saw some of the clips, but the clips were from one of my recent opportunities with True False. So True False Film Festival is a festival that's hosted in Columbia, Missouri. Um, I go to Mizzou. I don't think that's a secret, but yeah, I go to Mizzou, and that's a really big deal around this area. And I think I had a lot of takeaways from that event. It actually kind of gave me a really a new understanding of what it is that I'm trying to do and how I'm gonna get there. But and you know what's crazy? I think the first takeaway I want to go with is that it wasn't my first festival, but for some reason it kind of felt like it. Like, and what I mean by that is, I did a festival last year, and that was my very first time being like invited to perform in a different state. It was in Chicago. It was at Northwestern University, and that was the first time I'd ever performed for a really large crowd. It was just it was a lot of firsts that time. I mean, they were driving me around on golf carts, like they were all types of like sandwiches and all bunch of stuff. So that was my very first festival, right? And I think that sometimes when you get an opportunity, the whole idea or the whole goal is that you have to then top that last opportunity, right? And when I got invited to do this festival, one, it's a documentary like film festival, so it kind of felt out of place. But then what also kind of, I guess, was messing with my mood a little bit was that it didn't feel like that big of an opportunity, and that's no disrespect to them, but more of a reflection of my perception and how I was kind of letting past experiences and you know my expectations reflect or disrupt my future opportunities simply because I felt that maybe I deserved more, or maybe or whatever it was, right? And that was what I felt kind of going into it. But once I was done, I started to realize, like, wait a second, it's not about, I guess, it's about capitalizing on the opportunities that you're giving, regardless of what they are, right? I think one unique thing about this opportunity was the fact that most of the crowds were not my target demographic. Like literally every crowd that I performed for like a group of like 16-year-old sophomores, which someone would say, yeah, that is your demographic. They're young people, they listen to rap, I guess. But to be honest with you, I don't think they wanted to hear what I was talking about. And here's the thing, though. You know what's crazy? That's not true. That's not true. We're gonna get into that. That's not true. But they were just kind of at that age, like where it's like, I don't know if I want to engage, and none of them really knew who I was, so they didn't really have any reason to engage with me. So that performance went well, but I think that it was just kind of like it didn't go how I might have expected it or wanted it to, right? And then I performed for like a lot of older people. They were like that kind of retired age, and I guess the person who just got time to sit around and watch documentary films all day, but that's pretty much what you're gonna get with that. But anyways, a lot of those people were like I say, like retired age, and they were really receptive to my music. I think in those moments, I didn't really know how I was gonna be received, and I just want to thank Kareem, like that's my DJ, and that's my dog, bro. Like he really came through and helped. I had to perform like 6 times that weekend, and in between going to work and just doing a couple other things, and we were getting paid for this, but that's not really, that still doesn't necessarily mean it's more convenient. So he was, my right hand man throughout the whole thing, and adjusting sets and just really being on the edge, but being just on demand, being able to kind of be flexible and help make it successful. But I said all that to say, performing for all these different crowds, it kind of showed me that the feeling of not being received or having to entertain that's my job. It's not my job to determine how many people show up. It's not my job to make sure that people know my words. It's not my job to make sure that all my fans are at a certain place or in a certain area, or that everybody that's in the room is a fan of me. Like those things are a part of building my brand, but my job is to entertain whoever is in front of me when it comes to performing. And I learned that weekend because, like I say, although I didn't necessarily perform in front of my target audiences or people who knew me, I was able to make an impact. And we made a lot of money. Like, we really did. And a lot of the money came from tips. Like, a lot of the money was given to us just because they liked what we did. And it was like, okay, you might not ever listen to rap, but what if I'm the only rapper that you really listen to, you know? So I said all that to say it even caused me to kind of question like what I was looking for, because in those moments I realized that everything that I'm kind of wanting to do, or who I want to be, is like who I already am, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, I want to be at a super high level. I want to be, having those moments where it seems like everybody in the room knows what's going on. They're screaming all the words, and I get to live that kind of lifestyle, the rock star kind of feeling. But whether or not I like it, my job is to entertain, and there's just levels to getting to where building that brand to where people do know who you are because you're so good at entertaining. So it's shifted my mindset from chasing the goals of, a sold out show or whatever, to, you know what, let me just focus on making sure that every opportunity I get to entertain someone, I'm entertaining them, and I'm really good at it. And ultimately all the things that I want as a part of that will follow. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm already who I'm already who I want to be, and that was like my biggest takeaway from that weekend. I talked to a fellow artist, and named Psalm One, and she just gave me the rundown on like what it means to be a touring artist. Like, she was just telling me that, like, it's a grind. Like, you really have to love what you're doing. You have to be committed to that entertainment aspect. You have to be committed to um, you have to be committed to your craft and what it is that you do, because the idea that just because you're good at what you do, there's going to be a million people lining up to see you is not necessarily true, right? And you have to be okay with understanding that there are levels in this game. And my mind stopped shifting from, if I just put out a good song and I perform a couple times, then some kind of way everybody's going to know me. Like, it doesn't work that way. You have to show up consistently. You have to show up. You have to keep constantly putting out good music, constantly being great at what you do, and that is a result of those things. You know what I'm saying? But you can't necessarily be attached to that outcome either, because music is subjective, and you have to understand the nature of what the industry is in itself. So, like I say, that was kind of the biggest takeaway, which is like, and I kind of want to take that into my concert experience. Like I told you, I mentioned the Drake and J. Cole concert, and that blessed me in a different way. That blessed me in a way that, that was pretty much after I had performed at True False. And the reason that it blessed me so much was because for so long I had seen these guys, Drake, J. Cole. I was born in 2000, so those guys were coming up when I was like 12, 13, 14. Like, that's when they were really getting their feet wet in the game. And it's like, I've watched their rise, and for so long I've idolized these guys. I thought that they were like inhuman almost. But for that moment, and in that night at that show, they looked human. Like, I had just got done performing for people that I had never seen, rocking the crowd, and really getting real engagement from people that I never met in my life. And although it wasn't in front of 18,000 people, I was able to move people's hearts, and I could see it. I was able to see that I really impacted someone just through the words that I was speaking. And I didn't even need clout or fame to do it. So when I saw them doing it, it was like, oh wait, like, yeah, they're doing it better than I am, I guess. They're at a higher level, but they're not unattainable. You know what I mean? It's not out of reach. It can be done. You know what I mean? And it gave me a whole new sense of like, oh wow, like, they're just really great at what they do. So how can I get great? Practice, repetition, and it just reinforced that idea of, I'm not so worried about how many people I perform in front of, but rather, what is the quality of my performance, So it was a heck of an experience. I had so much fun. I was right in front. Drake was like I mean, he was like right in front of me. You know, he was like, if I'm right here, Drake was like right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that being said, that was a heck of an experience. And I think another thing that I took away from that experience, the J. Cole and Drake concert, was that I want to kind of go back to that. What was I mentioning? Like, what was I reaching for? Because if you're reaching for a specific outcome, you might not ever get it. Like, how many people need to know you in order for you to be fulfilled, right? Because there was a particular instance in the crowd where I saw a lady and she was looking up who J. Cole was. Like, she didn't know who he was. Bro, let's keep it a buck. Like, if you listen to rap, you should know who he is. Like, come on, bro. He's the reason that I rap. You feel me? Like, I was just like, bruh, if he's on the Mount Rushmore, come on, bro. Like, you don't know who he is? And I sat and thought, like, how would that make him feel? Not from a sentimental point of view, but how would that motivate him to then keep going, to then keep trying to get more people to know him, to make sure that everybody knew who he was? Like, at what point, what level do you say, okay, like, I've done enough? Like, if that's your goal, if your goal is to have 1 million people and then everywhere you go, you're hounded and you're a superstar and everybody knows you. Like, what if that was his goal? Would he be making the fall off? Would this be his last album? You know, and it just brought it back around to myself. Like, the fame is a part of why I do what I do. I guess, like, the notoriety and I guess the acclaim of being respected as really good at my craft, but I understand that there's levels in this game, and I'm no longer attached to the idea that I have to be the biggest in order to be happy. You know what I mean? I don't have to be somebody that everybody knows, you know? It's just like, but then that raises the question, like, what it is that I'm truly looking for. And I can't, I guess I'm saying that stability for my family is probably the most important thing to me. Stability for myself in terms of finances, and I think the fame and the fortune kind of come together. You know what I mean? So you can't get one without the other. You know, so that's why it's like, well, I can't say that I'm not looking to be famous, because if you're not famous, you're not making any money anyway, and that's a whole nother thing. But I think it's kind of like, how much fame do I need to achieve this the sustainability that I want? You know, and it's like, I don't know. And that's going to kind of take me into that next kind of point about my relationship with God. And usually I separate these talks, but the reason that I don't want to separate it right now is because I just think that it all goes together. It kind of flows, you know? And these were opportunities for him to show where he might be taking me or where he's leading me to. And just a moment of transparency for you guys so you can see where my mind is at this present moment and what I've kind of learned through what I've been going through. But essentially what I want to talk about when it comes to God is obedience. Lately my relationship has kind of been on the rocks a little bit, and I think that as a believer, I think that I tend to put things as on the rocks when I'm just imperfect. So if it's not quote unquote perfect, or if I don't feel like I'm right in line, then it's not great, and I'm trying to get out of the habit of that, but that's a whole nother conversation. But in this particular instance, I want to talk about like my disobedience, because I'm not gonna say that I'm just doing everything that I'm supposed to do, but I think that my disobedience comes from a lack of faith. And there's this scripture that I read, like, that was like maybe like a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, okay, I think it makes the most sense, because obviously I was talking to you guys about knowing what I want and stability and how much it's going to take. And the real reality is that I don't know. Like, you can think you want something and think that you're willing to pay the price for it, but then when you see how much it costs and you see what you're going to get for the price, it doesn't really feel like, worth it, right? So, that being said, there's a scripture that says, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. And the reason I say that my disobedience comes from my lack of faith is because God can instruct me to do something, right? And He has instructed me to do things. And I allow my circumstances and the things He's allowed me to go through to shape my perception. And when He asks me to do something that goes against my perception, it kind of feels like my mind's playing tricks on me, and I just begin to doubt. Like, there's no way that He said that, because why would He allow me to go through so many things to build this perception, to build me up this way, just to then tell me something that completely opposes it, right? And then I'm just supposed to go with that. It doesn't always make sense. You know what I mean? It just feels like, okay, what am I doing, right? So then the disobedience comes, and I just start to kind of do things because I feel like I can figure it out, if that makes sense. So it kind of affects our relationship, and I think that affects even this platform, because I mean, at the end of the day, I want to use this platform as a way to, you know, share not only my journey in my career, but my journey in my relationship with God, because I think that's beneficial to the people that watch. So, whether or not you believe in Christ or anything like that, whether you believe that, you're a Christian or anything, it's like it can be beneficial if you choose to be one. It can be beneficial just to watch me try and go through it. I mean, it's just a lot there. So I always try to make sure that I'm available to share the things that are going on in my life in that aspect, because it can bless somebody. So that being said, my disobedience has kind of affected it, because I don't want it to be tainted. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm creating this stuff, I don't want to say something that goes against what He might want me to say. So when I can't hear Him correctly, or it's just weird. So that being said, I just think that it can just be tough, right? It can just be tough to follow what He's telling you to do, because you just don't see it. And it's kind of like you don't see it, but at the same time, you don't even really know what you're looking for. So how can you then tell God that He's wrong, as a person who sees everything? As a matter of fact, He knows the prices that you have to pay to get where you want to go. He knows everything. He knows what you're gonna want in 10 years. He knows everything about you. So I kind of had to come to the conclusion where it's like, okay, I'm starting to walk out of my disobedience as best as I can. And when I say as best as I can, I just mean, like, you get in the patterns and you start doing things that aren't conducive to what the will of God says. And it's like, it's not just like you just snap and stop. Like, bro, like, you can ask for deliverance, but it's still a choice. You know what I mean? And sometimes you fall. But I said all that to say, I'm really trying to get back into the Word and get my fire for God, at a higher level. But that being said, it's kind of like you don't know what you want. You don't. I mean, you can think you know, but you only know based on the knowledge that you have. So God knows who you are, and even if you have to bank on the idea that even if the circumstances don't look like what He said, I have to be willing to be obedient to what I know that I heard, and that is going to be the building of your faith. That is the ultimate miracle of all of it. So it's just like I can't necessarily say that what I feel like He's calling me to do is gonna, quote unquote, turn out. I can't say that. I understand it. I can't even say that the circumstances around me are gonna perpetuate that. It's gonna be better than anything I could make for myself. But I do know, and I'm saying that I can't see it based on, I can't see it. It's not around me. It's the only thing I have is what He told me. But I do know that in the event that I didn't hear Him correctly, right? Like, because that's a big thing with me. It's like I don't even really trip about what I don't see anymore. It's more about, like, did He tell me the right thing? Am I doing this correctly? And I doubt that, just based on what's around me, and that's what causes me to doubt. And I just have to understand that I know who God is. Like, and even in the event that I did, you know, mishear him, I know that, excuse me, I know that he's not playing from behind. I know that he recognizes my efforts. I know that, like I say, he's seen everything before that, and that he recognizes that I'm trying to be obedient to him. So any mistakes that I make along the way, he's already been prepared for that because he recognizes my obedience. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's kind of like if I didn't hear him correctly, I mean, he's gonna guide my steps. I don't have anything to worry about. I don't have to be anxious about anything because he's already guided my steps. So it's kind of like I can't say that I know what I want, but I guess the real point of acceptance is that I don't have to know what I want because he knows everything. And therefore, as long as I want what he wants and I'm willing to align with him, then I'll be good. So, yeah.
It ain't for the pics, it ain't for the flash. What's the amount? Put it up in the stash. Already know, you ain't gotta ask. It's about that cash, it's about that dough. Gotta get rich, cause my homie grown. If it ain't about this, I can't pick up the phone. Run it up quick, yeah, and I gotta go, yeah. Hope you're ready to roll, cause I'm out the door. Yeah, on my grind I just hope that it pay off. 1 o'clock and I ain't took a day off. I'm tryna ball out the playoffs. Glad that I majored in finance, cause maybe I end up like Madoff. Thought I would have all my dreams by now, but I guess the time was way.
Okay. So I don't know if y'all can hear me, but we just got done shooting this, and like, to be honest, I don't know if y'all can even hear the mics or whatever, but like, to be honest, I feel crazy because I didn't, and I gotta kind of duck down so y'all like, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of tall, sort of. So, anyways, what I'm saying is, I didn't think that I could do this by myself, but the Lord is showing me that I don't need nobody else but Him and myself. So just keep going, cause this is crazy. I was like in here, I didn't know what was gonna happen, but some kind of way it turned out, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I hope y'all happy too. But that's all I wanted to say. You and God, that's enough. Okay?